This episode of Soldier Knows Best is brought to you by Shutterstock.com. Hey, what's up guys, Soldier Knows Best here. This is my review of the Google Nexus 4. This is the Nexus branded cell phone for the year, and Google really makes these phones their own babies. These are how really Google wants you to experience the Android experience on a cell phone. So I'm gonna talk about the design, talk about the hardware, of course the new Android 4.2 Jelly Bean software that's on this bad boy as well, and really see where this phone stacks up against all the other top smartphones in the market right now. So first is going to talk about the design. Now, at first glance, the Google Nexus 4 is not a flashy phone at all. It's very simple, very basic with its looks, but when you pick it up, that's when you start to feel how well made this phone actually is. Now, this phone comes in at 9.1 millimeters thin and weighs 139 grams, which means this phone is not going to be the slimmest nor the lightest phone out there on the market, but it comes pretty close in each of the categories. Now, this phone features two glass panels, one on the front, of course, for the display, and then one on the back. Now, both of these glass panels are Gorilla Glass 2, so they will be able to withstand some punishment. The one on the back does have this little glittery pattern on the back, so when you do hold it in the light a certain way, it will kind of light up a little bit, which looks pretty cool. Then on the front, you will find a 4.7-inch screen with a resolution of 1280 by 768. It also has 320 ppi, that's pixels per inch, which means that it's not going to be absolute spec-wise the best display out there in the market, but it does produce very accurate colors and also performs very well outdoors in direct sunlight, and this is just really one of the best displays out on a cell phone right now. One nice touch that they added to the glass of the display is that it folds over the size of the phone, so when you are moving your thumb over and it goes over the edge of it, it's a nice smooth drop off, which is very pleasing to the hand. Now, because this phone features glass on the front and the back, that may make it a little bit more prone to droppage when you are holding this thing in your hand, but because they feature this nice grippy surface on the edges of the device, I don't know the exact name for it, but when you do hold this phone in your hand, this is the best feeling phone that probably I've ever held in my hand as far as the way it feels. It's the perfect size, and I don't feel like I'm going to drop it at all, but just don't put this thing on a desk that has any type of incline at all, because it will slide off. That did happen to me, but even though I did drop this thing off of my desk a few times, it held up pretty nicely. As we take a look at all the different buttons in the ports, on the right hand side you will find the power/sleep wake button. On the left hand side you will find the volume rocker, and also below that you'll find the SIM card slot. At the top you'll find a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, and also you'll find one microphone. Then if you go to the bottom you'll find the other microphone. Then you'll find a micro USB port as well on the bottom. On the back, you will find the speaker, which I don't like the placement of the speaker on the back, because when you do set this phone on the desk, if you are doing speakerphone or just watching a movie, anything like that, the sound will become very, very muffled. So I wish that it would have put the speaker on the edges or on the bottom of the phone. As we look at the internals of this phone, it features a quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 processor that is clocked at 1.5 gigahertz, 2 gigabytes of RAM. You can either get 8 gigabytes or 16 gigabyte storage variants, and it has a 2100 milliamp battery that will be able to get you through the entire day without having to charge it. And plus, this phone does have NFC, and it does have the ability to be wirelessly charged. So if you do have a compatible mat, I'm using the one that came with my Nokia 920. You can actually set this thing right on top of that, and it'll go ahead and start charging, so you don't have to plug any cables into the phone itself. Now, one thing this phone is missing is LTE. Well, it's actually not missing. It does have the chip inside of it for LTE, but Google elected not to turn it on because they wanted to keep the price of this phone down, and plus they didn't want to work with all the carriers because it's kind of a headache to work with carriers around the world with LTE. But that being said, some people have kind of found a way to turn it on, kind of hacked it a little bit, and have been able to use it with a certain amount of networks out there. But bottom line is that this phone does not have LTE coverage or capabilities inside of it that you can actually use out of the box. So that may be a downer for a lot of people out there. And now let's going to talk about the cameras. Now, the front-facing camera is a 1.3 megapixel shooter, which is going to be bringing you just good enough quality to be able to do some front-facing video calling and things like that. But the rear-facing camera is an 8 megapixel camera that can take 1080p HD video at 30 frames per second. And overall, the images and the video that I was able to take with this phone were okay. They were about average. They just weren't up there with the likes of the iPhone 5 or the Nokia Lumia 920. As far as call quality, I know we don't talk about that much when it comes to cell phones these days, but it was definitely okay. I used the AT&T network and people were able to hear me loud and clear, partly due to the two microphones that this phone has, one for noise cancellation. And so everything with the data speeds and all that stuff was just about average for a smartphone nowadays. And now let's move on to talk about the most important characteristic of this phone, and that is the software. It is running Android 4.2 Jelly Bean, which is the latest version of the Android operating system, and it brings a whole bunch of little tweaks and new changes that really make the Android experience much better. One of the main changes in Android 4.2 is that now you can access widgets from the lock screen. So when you are in the lock screen, you can slide either left or right, and you can have different widgets there, for one for your calendar, one for your Gmail, one for the camera, which will automatically go into the camera application. And I find this to be very useful, even though I would like Google to allow more widgets to be used here, plus to allow you to have multiple widgets on a certain screen at one time. But overall, I really do like this functionality. And they also added this new quick settings menu, which you can access by sliding down from the top with 2 fingers. And then you'll show you all the different settings from changing your Wi-Fi, your Bluetooth, or your brightness of your screen. And you can also access this same menu if you are just in the regular notifications window by pressing the button on the top right-hand corner. And then when we move over to Google Voice Search, you will see that it is even faster than before. And if you compare it directly to Siri and other things like that, you will see that it just blows them out of the water as far as speed. And now it is even more accurate and able to understand a lot more what I'm saying and find me results for what I am looking for. And one of my favorite new features is this swipe-like keyboard that is built right into the operating system now that allows you just to swipe your finger and create words using the keyboard. It's very easy to get used to and works very, very well. And now some of the best new features of the Android 4.2 actually come over to the camera application. Now you're able to adjust the settings for your photos easier and faster than before, because now you can just tap and hold with your thumb on the screen, anywhere on the screen. It'll bring up this quick settings menu. Now you can change it to the front facing camera. You can turn on the new HDR mode if you wanted to, turn on or off the flash, adjust the white balance and the exposure and different things like this. And I found this to be very, very useful. And lastly, one of the best new features in the camera application is this new Photosphere Mode, which will allow you to take a 360 panoramic image. And the software actually works pretty well. You're basically going to be lining up these blue dots and you're able to pan all the way around you, up and down, left and right, and take this panoramic image, which you can move around with your finger afterwards and actually scroll through an entire, world. Kind of like, Google Maps Street View. It's very similar to that, but now you can take that with your own individual pictures. And the plus to having all these new features, the performance of this OS and the cell phone itself was pretty impressive. And you can tell by this Geekbench score that I did between the iPhone 5 that this Nexus 4 really has a really good platform for performance with the quad-core processor and 2 GB of RAM. So overall, guys, as I wrap up my review of the Nexus 4, I will say that this is the best all-around smartphone on the market right now. When you take a look at the design, it's a very nice, solid design, even though the glass on the back can be a little bit prone to more damage than other phones out there. But even my accidental test when this fell off my desk, it did seem to hold up pretty well. And because this is a Nexus phone, this phone will be getting all the latest software updates coming from Google regarding Android first, which is an added plus. And there are a couple things I would like to see improve with this phone. One, more storage options. It only comes in 8 and 16 gigabytes, which a lot of people like to see 32 or 64 gigabyte variants of this phone. 2, the cameras could definitely be improved compared to some of the top smartphones out there on the market. And 3, the lack of LTE will be a negative for some people out there who really do need the fastest mobile data speeds out there. But now when you look at the price of this phone, I think a lot of people will be able to overlook some of those negatives, because this phone starts off totally unlocked at $299, meaning it's no contract. You can buy directly from Google the 8 gigabyte version for $299. Then if you want the 16 gigabyte version, it will be $349. Then of course, if you want to get it at its absolute cheapest price, you can get the 16 gigabyte version for $199 with a 2-year contract with T-Mobile here in the United States. But overall, guys, I really like the Nexus 4, one of my favorite phones of the year. So anyway, guys, this just about wraps up this video. But before we head out here, we're going to take one last look at our sponsor for this video. Shutterstock.com is the place to go if you're looking for stock photos, vectors, illustrations, and video clips. You can sign up for large image packs, monthly subscriptions, or just grab a single image for a blog or markup. And they even offer enhanced license access in case you want to print an image out or get it screened on a tee. And so you can head over to Shutterstock.com, or you can install their iPad application and get signed up absolutely free, no credit card needed. And when you do find the images that you are looking for, you can use the offer code BEST11 and save 30% off of any package. Again, go to Shutterstock.com and use the offer code BEST11. Alright guys, again, thanks for watching this video. And as you saw in the title, this is also a giveaway video. So when these first went on sale, I copped 2 of these, so I'm part of the reason why they were sold out. But anyway, I'm going to be giving away this other one that I got to one of you lucky people out there. This is an international giveaway. All you have to do is go to my Facebook fan page, which is facebook.com/skbfans. Leave a comment on the post that is related to the giveaway. Leave a comment on there, then I'll be picking a winner about a week from now, and somebody will win this brand new Nexus 4. So good luck to everybody out there. Leave a comment down below, guys, about what you think about this video. What do you think about the review? What do you think about this phone? And thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you later. Peace.